Guys, today I am interviewing this lady. She is from Israel. She is a fellow ketoer. She has been following the ketogenic diet for almost a year now. She is a mother of two young boys, and she is a wife as well as she's a working nurse. I wanted to bring her for an interview today so that she can share her own journey and she can talk about it. Thank you so much, Naomi. Thank you and welcome. Great. So tell me a little bit about yourself. I want to know about you first.
I am, I'm 38. I've been married for nearly 5 years. I've been a nurse for over 18 years.
Wow.
We have two small boys, 4 and 2.5. And I've always been in the search for what is the best way to be healthy, how to achieve our very best health, and what is it that we need to eat in order to lose weight and actually be healthy. Did not have the answer for many, many years. I tried many different things. I've been overweight since I was 5. I've never been at a normal BMI. I've never had a average or normal body weight. And after the birth of my second son and after a second C-section and about 30 kilos of weight gain, I realized I have to change my life. I finally found my why.
Yep.
I finally found what is more important than pasta, and that is the option to have a third pregnancy and a third child, which is something that we want, and that was more important than the bowl of pasta or the ice cream or
Absolutely.
the chocolate or whatever. So I finally found my why. I didn't know the how yet. I hadn't even heard about keto. I didn't know anything about it. I tried doing a cleanse. I kind of said, okay, this is what it is. Just I'm going to be a very healthy, obese woman. And I stumbled across a documentary, The Magic Pill.
Yeah.
And I saw it, and it changed everything.
Fantastic. So that was your turning point. Watching that documentary, and that's how you got to know about it. So it's been. Tell us a little bit about your weight loss. Like, what was your weight when you started, and since then, how much weight loss you've really experienced? I think you said that you have been following this diet with your husband, right?
Yes. So we followed it together. We started the same day, and we've been at it for a year. We've both lost 25 kilos, but more than anything, and we've done, because I'm the nurse, so we've done blood work every 2 months. We've really done a lot of research to make sure that we're doing this right.
Fantastic.
I mean, there are people that for them, the ketogenic diet means almost totally carnivore. There are those who are much more vegetarian. There are those who do the dirty keto or the strict keto. It's just about finding what works for you so that it can work for a long time. Like I said that movie changed my life because I realized I have 2 goals. I have a short-term goal and I have a long-term goal.
Yep.
My short-term goal is I want to be able to get my body to a place that I can have another pregnancy and another child. But my long-term goal is I don't want Alzheimer's and dementia and cancer.
Absolutely.
So this is not a diet to do something really strict for an event, and then the hour after the event is over, then now I can go back to eating everything I wanted to. No.
Right.
From day one, we said, this is our new lifestyle. Let's make it work for us.
It's really inspiring to know about, both of your weight loss journey, and you guys have actually, got into blood tests to, figure out what really works for you guys. That's great. I mean, moving to the next one, it's been almost a year, you said you've been following this diet. Was it tough for you to start? Or how are you able to manage to carry on with this diet? Is it really tough to follow it as a lifestyle?
My drug of choice is food. That is my addiction. That I do not drink, I don't smoke, I don't spend money, I don't gamble. I eat. First and foremost, I had to understand that I am an addict of sugar and carbohydrates, and I need to stop. There are two parts to your question: during quarantine and not during quarantine.
Yep.
During quarantine, the stress level was so high because for 2 months we were at home with the kids that my initial thought every day was I need to comfort myself with food. And on the first day of quarantine, my husband and I said, we're not doing that. We will eat more foods that are keto,
Yep.
but I'm not going to start baking and to comfort, to do a project with my kids and then eat all the muffins and all the cakes. I'm not going to do that. So that's during intense stress. And this year, the intense stress has been the coronavirus.
Yep.
I think for me, the hardest or the most challenging part of sticking with the keto diet is having to explain to others why I can't eat with them whatever they're having or making or ordering, and how to not offend other people. You don't want to make them feel bad. Absolutely. That they're doing something wrong, and yet you don't want to compromise your health and choices just so that they don't feel bad.
Yep.
True. We had an evening at a friend's house, and this is a family who loves to entertain and loves to put so many different types of food out. And we just kept saying, no. We're honestly, we're not hungry. And he said, yep. It physically pains me to see you not eating. And I said, and at the end I said, this is not against you. This is just for me. If someone stops smoking and they tell the world, I've stopped smoking, everyone will say, good job, way to go, and no one will dare offer them a cigarette.
Absolutely.
But when you say, I've stopped eating sugar, and I don't eat fruit, and I don't eat pastries, and I don't, whatever, and they'll say, good for you, but maybe just a little bit, and that is almost the hardest part of this, like having to explain something that is so against culture.
Absolutely. I mean, here in India, if I talk about, we are full of festivals, and festival comes with sweets. So, well, you have to find out your why. That's exactly. If you know your why, the how becomes easy, right?
Oh my God, yes.
So how do you manage your, meal preparations now, Naomi? Because I get to interact with a lot of people who want to start on this diet, and they always, come up with this unique question that choices are limited, or, getting into a ketogenic diet will engage me to do a lot more than what I'm doing right now. How do you manage all of it? Is it really coming along easy for you?
It really is, because again, I realize it's a choice that I'm making. I can choose to go and buy bread that I know will be very bad for me and will hurt my insulin resistance and increase my inflammation and just make me feel bad. Or I can take the time to make 2 loaves of keto bread. People are people of habit. I think one of the things that people think when they start the ketogenic diet is they need variety. They need a different meal every day. They need tons of different ingredients. And when you stop and think about it, people in their day-to-day eat pretty much the same 5-10 foods over and over and over again. People don't look for variety. People look for what they know and what is easy for them, whatever that is. So for me, an omelet, with some homemade cream cheese and sauerkraut and a few slices of the bread that I make is enough. And it's not to make. We made homemade sauerkraut, and it was a 1-day project many months ago, and now we have it all year long. We made olives. My husband and I both love pickling and curing, and homemade as much as we can, because we know exactly what goes in the food, and we feel proud when my husband gets to eat his olives. Then he feels proud. You make a pot of meat, and vegetables and stock, and that lasts for several days. you have to make a decision.
Yep.
Because once you make a decision, once you find your why, then you find the path on how to do it.
Absolutely, absolutely. That was really helpful. I'm sure that's going to bring a lot of motivation of people who are willing to start on it, because it's all about that decision. Once you decide, after that, things become easy. So you did mention about your insulin resistance. A lot of people who are completely new might not know about it. I mean, I keep sharing more about this. But how did you get to know about it? How did you really work on it?
So conventional medicine doesn't test for insulin level.
Yeah,
We test for sugar level.
That's right.
After I saw the magic pill, one of the doctors that was interviewed on that movie was Dr. Jason Funk,
Yes.
who is a nephrologist. And then I set off and listened to all of his YouTube lectures, and I bought his books, and to understand what does it mean to be insulin resistant. Yep. And I understand now that you can be testing your fasting blood glucose level for years.
Yes.
And it's normal. But the reason it's normal is because your insulin is acting to take it out of the blood and into a cell. No one is testing for insulin levels. And if they were, people would know that they are pre-diabetic 20 years before they are diabetic.
Absolutely, absolutely. And that's what people get to know at a very later stage, when they can't help it, right? And especially if they work on it from the very beginning, changing their lifestyle, it is going to totally make a difference to them.
We've just grown so accustomed to one way of checking and measuring people's sugar status, that we're not thinking about their insulin status. And I was a healthy, very fat woman. All of my blood tests, my cholesterol, my triglycerides, my sugar, my hemoglobin A1C, they were all normal until I tested my insulin. And that was way high. And my inflammation markers were really high. And my HDL cholesterol was really low. I decided that I'm not only doing this way of life, but I am studying this way of life, because I want to understand the most I absolutely can for myself, and then to help others. Because a part of me knew that if I lost a lot of weight, people would come and say, "What are you doing?" And I needed an answer for myself, but I needed an answer to give them and show them. So that's what insulin resistance is that your insulin level is so tired. Your insulin marker, your hormone, is so tired that it can no longer pull the glucose from the cell, from the blood to a cell. And that's when your sugar levels start to go up.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, I mean, it made you excited to know, and follow this diet. So when it comes to, following this practice, how are you in control on continuing this diet? Because a lot of time what happens, people start very enthusiastically and they fall off the wagon. Then after 2 months, they don't feel excited anymore about it. So what was your motivating factor? What kept you going for so long?
I realized that because I had tried so many diets in the past, and I was very enthusiastic in the beginning, and then just like you said, you lose your enthusiasm, and then you move on, and then you go back to your older, more familiar habits. I realized that I had to find a way to stay as excited and as motivated every single day as I was on day one. The way I did that, I joined a lot of Facebook groups, keto and like the self journey. But I didn't talk about other things. I was so passionate about this because I've been asking myself this question for 20 years. What do we need to eat to be healthy? And I realized I found the answer. And I kept reminding myself, you have to find any way possible to stick with this and be as enthusiastic about this. And even if the scale doesn't move, or even if you've had a cookie or a banana or whatever it was, it's not a big deal. This does not mean that all the work you have just done for the last year is out the door. No, it just means you had a banana.
Absolutely.
I had to go through a whole journey where food had power over me. Then I was very, very upset and angry at the food industry for giving us these messages. I was mad. I was really mad for a few months. And now I'm at a point where I realize food is just food. Mm-hmm. It's not my friend. It's not my enemy. It's not my, it's just food.
Food, yeah.
You choose when, how much, if you want it, if you don't want it. And I am grateful now for food, all food. I am grateful that I get to nourish my body. And I am in a very loving relationship with food, which is the first time. I'm 38 years old and I've had a very bad relationship with food up until a year ago. Mm-hmm. Food was my sabotage and my comfort. It was my home, and it was my enemy. All at once.
Absolutely. Absolutely. A lot of women I interact with at your age, I mean, they go exactly through the same. I mean, when they're stressful, they actually jump onto eating food, which is wrong, right? And that's how you end up gaining weight. And then one fine day you realize that, no, this is not what I want to do. And then when you gain so much weight, it's so difficult to motivate yourself. But what I feel it's all about that start. Once you decide, once you start, things become easy, isn't it?
It really is. And I think also for me, the research and the knowledge, like because when you start, then you lose a lot of weight and then it plateaus.
Yep.
And then you can get frustrated and you don't remember that you were, 10 kilos more. You don't remember that. You just remember that now the scale isn't moving and you look in the mirror and you look fat. But you have to look at a picture from when you start. Take a picture when you start. Stand in front of a camera naked or with your bra and underwear and take a picture, because you will be so amazed and proud at what you've accomplished. There was one day where I was fasting for I think 30 hours. Mm-hmm. And I was over at my parents' house and my father's a diabetic, and I tested my blood glucose just for curiosity. Mm-hmm. My blood glucose was 120. And I said to myself, how is this possible? I have been fasting for 30 hours.
Yep.
I did not have a sugar issue ever in my life. Why is now my blood sugar 120? That would frustrate a lot of people.
Yep.
But instead, I went to the research and I said, why? And I looked it up and I realized I still have glucose storage in my liver, and my liver is pushing glucose out to help me. This is a good thing. This is a process. And I think a lot of people have to realize you did not gain all this weight and become this unhealthy within a month.
Yep.
It took you years. And in a society where we're looking for the quick fix, for the fast solution, where everything is fast, this is going to take time. And that's fine, because like I said, I have a long-term goal also. I am healing my brain with ketones. Yep. I am healing my body with removing all oils that are not natural, with all sugars that are not natural. I'm doing these things for a long-term reason. I want another 60 years to live the very best life I can, and that's what I'm doing.
No wonder that's how, we call ketogenic diet as also an anti-aging diet, right? It literally reverses your age.
And it's a process. Like where you are on day 1 is not where you are on day 100, because you've learned things, you've modified, and hopefully you don't find a meal plan online and implement it 100%, because that meal plan works for someone else. That does not work for you.
True.
You can be, lactose sensitive, and the person who created that meal plan is fine with eating dairy. You could have a nuts and seeds issue. You could be a vegetarian. You maybe hate cooking, and you're not going to start loving to cook. That's not going to happen. True. If there's a very big difference between people who start their day at 5 a.m. than people who only come home from work at 10 p.m. Those two people need a different lifestyle. They have a different lifestyle. They need a different food lifestyle. Mm-hmm. So you cannot implement what one thing is working for another person onto your life. You can try and see, does that feel good to me?
Yep.
it does, great. I will incorporate that into my life. But if it doesn't, that's fine, because it works for them. I have to find out what works for me. And
Yep.
people have to do the work. People have to do the work. You have to put in the time and say, this is my project now. I am my project. I am more important than anyone else. This is what I did. And that's what made it so easy. I put myself first and I announced it to the world. I've changed my life and I'm on a keto diet. And this is what I'm doing. And that made me feel very empowered, because for many years I wanted to look different. I wanted to lose the weight, but I didn't want it to interrupt anything in my lifestyle. And then I had to say, well, no, I am of value and I am important enough to put myself first.
In fact, that's this is my next question. It's so important to give yourself your priority. So people who are planning to start on a ketogenic diet or who want to get healthier, I mean, of course, weight loss will follow with it. What is that one advice you would like to, give it to them so that they are able to sustain this diet, at the same time they feel motivated to start on it?
It's so worth it.
Absolutely, it is. It is.
It's worth it. It is. Feeling good feels so much better than eating bread.
Yeah.
or whatever. I always pause, because for each person that last word is different. Cake or bread or pasta or pizza or whatever it is. You are important enough to understand that none of this was your fault. You weren't lazy. You weren't unsuccessful. You just have a bad case of insulin resistance and inflammation from all the foods that at one point someone told you is healthy to eat. Now is the time to realize that was not good advice, and you deserve better advice. I kind of want to say to people, you have to close your eyes and dream big. And if that dream entails a long, healthy life, or even a pant size that you have been wanting your whole life, or another child, or to run after your grandchildren, all of those dreams require health. You have to realize that you are worthy enough and important enough to accomplish those dreams. Once you find that, the journey is much easier. It's not a struggle. Even during stressful times, when I realize, okay, I'd still turn to food. I turn to food, and then I have to consciously come up with a different thing to do. And that's hard to do when you are stuck at home with children. I found ways to do it. I did an Instagram post, and that was the nourishment that I actually wanted. I didn't want the chocolate or the whatever it was. I think that's the one advice. Like, you are worth taking this journey, because if you had a child or a loved one, and a doctor told you, okay, this person needs treatment, and you have to go every day, and you have to get them a certain diet, and you have to cook them, you would do that for your loved one.
Absolutely. Yep.
You just have to realize that no doctor is going to tell you to go on the keto diet, but you need to.
Yep.
Or at least a very low carb diet. It's because when you're not doing anything, you're making things worse.
Absolutely.
If you're not doing anything, you're still eating the processed foods and the carbohydrates and the oils, and you're making your life worse.
Yep. Absolutely.
So you can either, food is a choice. Thought process is a choice.
Yep.
Understanding I am worthy, I am valuable, I love myself. When you realize that up here, you suddenly don't feel as hungry.
I mean, that's what the magic I like about this diet is. Your body is feeding on ketones as the energy source. And after some times, your hunger goes down. I mean, you actually master the art of eating.
It becomes it becomes a way of life. And that's amazing. I've done, my longest has been 42 hours.
Wow.
And I do that several times a month. And it's not that hard.
Yep.
Because I've become a fat burner, because I'm producing I'm producing ketones, and I'm also drinking ketones, exogenous ketones, that help me withstand the fast and help me feel good. I'm a nicer mom. I'm a better nurse for this journey. Yeah.
Fantastic, Naomi. I am so glad to know about your experiences on this diet. I am sure that this is going to bring a lot of motivation on people who want to start on this journey, because this is what I feel, that if you are around your own support system who are doing it and very confident about it, there is nothing to stop you to take your journey. Everyone's problems are the same, just that you need to make that decision and take this up. Thank you so much, and really appreciate your time.
Thank you so much, Sena. Bye-bye.
Okay. Yep.